So today we're going to kind of go through some of the stuff we've been working on in the past 3 weeks. I'm first going to show some of the combat that I've started working on. It's not close to being done, but it's the NPC attacks back. We do have a one-handed attack, dual wield. Dual wield I won't be able to show quite yet because I haven't fully tested it out. So you kind of see here, he kind of follows you, he attacks you. He's not constantly attacking you. He takes breaks. He does strafe left and right every now and then to throw you off. We also have a bow. So with the bow enemy, when you hit him and you're close to him, you'll pull out a dagger and try and juke you, like stab you. But if you get far enough away, he'll pull out his bow and start shooting at you again. So he pulled out his bow right there, and he's going to start shooting arrows. Hopefully he doesn't hit us. There we go. Kind of see it fly by there. And last enemy that I worked on that I just kind of want to show is magic. So we have two fireballs here. We're going to attack this guard. He's a magic guard with fireballs. They don't really follow you unless you're far away. He's just going to shoot fireballs anyway. You kind of just have to dodge it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the combat. I'm going to kind of dive into the multiplayer now. So let's go through the code real quick. You can see here I do have one function dedicated to most of the multiplayer functions. Making an instance, like a singleton instance, for example, so you can quickly access it, and only setting the instance if the network object happens to be the player's object, so it won't be instanced on the wrong object, for example. I've organized my functions into 4 different categories: career, party, dungeon. A lot of these have to be worked at again. So we're kind of going to go to the base features, base functions first, just to kind of look at get the kind of general idea of how Photon works. So like I said, like if anywhere, like let's say you want to press a button and it's a different script, that's what the public void's for. You just call the public void from that script, and then it'll shoot the data through the player object, and then through the RPC. So an RPC is a function that'll call on all clients, and it'll be called all from the game object that has the view, that has the network ID on it. So it'll shoot it out, and anybody, their targets, so I'm using target all, so everybody that's connected to the network will get this function. And the second function down there with the pun RPC tag on it is what's going to be called on every client. So we send our data through with the floats, and then change the data there. So this basically function here is setting the time of the host client, and changing the time from the host client to all the other clients in the game. So, for example, the player who's hosting the match, if they're on day 9 and they're on hour 2, everybody will be on day 9, hour 2, but it won't save. Over here we have unlocking doors and chests, which is universal, so it'll shoot through the player object, and any door you open or any chest you unlock will be unlocked on all your friends if they're in the same map as you, because there are going to be multiple maps, which is complex. Because Photon's not meant for that kind of gameplay. It's meant for like one room or 2 rooms. It's with everybody in the same scene and on the same page. It gets a little difficult to kind of work around that. Because they usually sync their scenes, so you turn that off, and then you have to make your own magic with it. So you can't pass through game objects with Photon. So what I did here was I created a singleton script that's meant to hold the doors and the chests, and then I just grab their element ID and then shoot it through the network. And then when it comes out the network in the function, I just grab the door with that ID in that script and then call open on it or unlock it, whatever the player's doing. We do have delete, and that's part of what I was talking about, how it's not meant for multiple scenes, because there are multiple scenes that different players could be in different scenes. And when you, instead of just moving one object to the next scene, it's just a lot easier to delete that object and then respawn it in the other scene, which does add a little more complications to some of the other codes, but I got a lot of it working so far. About 80% of it works. The 20% I am still going to show you. The 20% that doesn't quite work yet, we'll have to see, because it is adding a little bit of complication, but for the most part, it does seem like I can work around it. We have a global chat system too, which I'm going to show in just a sec. But I would kind of want to get into the showcases now. We're just going to show you what these functions mean and how they translate. So the party system, for example, which you is three different functions: sending it, receiving it to the player that you're inviting, and then if they accept it or not, what happens then? It'll send it back a refusal, and then it'll send back an accepting, and then. Alright, so time to show off the little details working. We have a party system that'll showcase. I'm going to show both screens on these testings. We're going to go a little quick here. So it shows the health bar on each player. So you have healers who can heal up your character, and you can see the respective player's health. I'm going to have a name over people's heads to make it easier, but that's not in it right now. Don't mind the bugs; they are going to pop up in the way. Our chat system is global, so you can chat with anybody in the world on your server, like no matter where they are. And we also have a courier system, which I'm going to show in a minute. But next, we're going to show the prison break, so you can break out your friends out of prisons and unlock chests. Like I said earlier, like you can unlock doors and chests online. It's not dedicated to just each client. So we're on jail right now, and we're going to see the other player unlock it, and you're not going to see the other player on the other screen because it's one of those botan bugs I was telling you about that I'm working on. So he did unlock it, but you just don't see him. He is there. The other character is there. We do have a dungeon system starting now. This is the first stored one, and I have a difficulty rating, and then just a kind of overall gist of the dungeons. You can either request help, or you can just enter it yourself. I'm going to request help here, and then any other player in the map, no matter where they are, can accept it by holding E and they'll take into that dungeon, where you guys can do it together. The courier system here is more for roleplay purposes, but it's interesting nonetheless. You can send a message out, private message out to one player if you want, and we're going to see that kind of in perspective here. This is I know it's not a lot to show, but that's mostly because of, like I said, the repetitive building and then testing. A lot of this stuff I'm not too sure fully works quite yet. I know most of it does, so the chat system and that works fine. Stuff like this doesn't quite work that well. The courier system is still being worked on, but I can send a private message to myself, and that's all that matters right now. At least it semi works. Um, I did hope to show a little bit more, but I kind of didn't get much more done. I've been mostly building constantly and then testing. So if you guys do have any questions in the about any of this multiplayer functions that I've been going through, I am more than happy to help in the comments. Because it is a headache and it does take a long time. And here's the courier coming up, and he's going to send his message. There you go. So like I said, if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below.